I wanted to make a video where I can demonstrate clearly a few things about reed work and about reed embossing, reed alignment, etc. If you just look at a reed, let's look at the one reed here. You can't really tell that much just by this point of view, right? But if you focus on the light that's bouncing up and push the reed through the slot, well, you still don't see much until you shade. See, I'm putting my hand over here, and as I shade, it reveals. I'm using the reed tool with my thumb against my hand, and I'm sort of adjusting the height. So if I shade the reed plate, and none of this ambient light is bouncing off and reflecting and getting in my way and blurring my view, I get a clear view of the light coming from underneath. And if I push the reed through the slot, you get a good idea of what's going on, of what the shape of the reed is. And likewise, if you want to consider embossing, or if your reed is giving you a buzz, I mean, you could look at the light through the slot. You could hold this reed plate up to the light, to the ceiling, and I mean, if you have a really bright light, you're going to get a saturated view. Like the light will fold around, and it'll sort of obscure your view. You won't get a clear image of what's going on. But as I made another video about mysterious embossing instructions. You could look at it. If I want to look at what's going on the whole length here, if I tilt this and shorten this, so now my view, instead of the slot being this big, the slot is now this big, but I'm seeing that whole distance across here. Again, I can shade the light and push, bring it a bit closer, and push that reed through, and I can see, well, hey, maybe the reason why this reed sounds a little bit high-pitched is because it's hitting on this side here. I mean, you don't have to guess. Let me just play this. Just inhaled something. So that reed is a little bit off to one. Now here, we make it visible, and to me that looks like there's an equal amount of light on either side, and it's more buttery. Anyway, so that was a little problem. Maybe the harp was dropped and the reed came out of alignment. I mean, you can use, a little shim to scooch the reed to one side or the other. But why not just take the reed plate off, and actually see what's going on with your own eyes? Get some good information. So the 2 draws a good, nice middle of the road kind of view. Can you appreciate the light coming from either side? How much room there is on either side of the reed plate as I push the reed in. Okay, so that's this. If you just did, I'm going to just pull out a 10 millimeter socket. So if you just took a socket and just did the last half and just pushed a little bit, I'm pressing down maybe as hard as I press down on my cell phone when I want to, the screen of my cell phone when I want to dial a number or check my emails. So not much. You don't need a lot of pressure. And I did the 2. Let's look at the 1. I'm putting my fingernail in the slot and I'm picking, and I don't feel there's anything there. Let me go to the 2, and lo and behold, there's a catch. Right? That's what I've just done by embossing. I can hear that the timbre changes as you emboss, so you can, and the tone and response. Let's take a look at what we can see. See See if you can appreciate. Can you appreciate how much tighter it is on either side in the area where we in the areas where we embossed on either side? So if, let's say, you overdid it and you went crazy and you embossed so much that that reed was now hitting the side. Right, let's say I put monster force on this. So you'd be able to go in and look and see that? You can see that area. You don't need fancy equipment. It's right there in front of your eyes. Right? So now I can use my shim. Push the slot in, push the reed in the slot, clean it up. You can use the reed tool to reverse the damage if it's on the further half of the reed plate, right? And then go back. Where's my camera light? And so you're taking some of that out, right? Or you can even do it from this side. I'm just smushing that back. I'm putting that pressing that brass back to unemboss. Can you see that? It's getting better, right? 3-draw. This is the harp I worked on a few days ago to just demonstrate the tuning for you. So the 3-draw. I have to work to get that 3-draw bend to be comfortable, and I have a pretty good idea why, but let's just look at it. So the 3-draw bend uses both the 3-draw reed and the 3-blow reed. So let's start with the 3-blow, just arbitrarily start with the 3-blow reed. Let me look at what happens when I push that through the slot. So let me get a good angle for you. That's not the problem. I can see there's a lot of light at the end, at the rivet side that doesn't disappear. So I can tighten that up. I'll show you how I do that. Now here is the 3-draw reed. Let's take a look. Let me angle the camera for you. It's hard to work looking through the camera. So it's the same thing. I see most of the tip of the reed going through the slot at the same time and not a lot of the end. So let's do some reed work. This is the reed and this is the rivet end. So if I want this part to be lower, obviously you always start from the rivet end and work outward. If this was curved up like this, and this was, I don't know, some weird shape, you would fix this side before you'd fix that side. Why? Because anything you do to this side is going to affect that side. Anything I do to this side doesn't necessarily have to affect this side. It's kind of just the way it is. All right, so here is the 3-draw. I want to drop this down. I want this end to fall. So I'll just apply some pressure. There's sort of an inflection point, right? Or I'm going on the wrong read. Looking at the camera again. So I see that this is moving, this area is moving, and this isn't moving a lot. So if I apply pressure, I'll find a spot where, you know, I can feel that I don't have to move this end a lot for this to move quite a bit. That's where I'm going to apply pressure. And that's what I'll just sort of gently massage. And you'll think, hey, you're bending this reed, you're going to break the reed. Well, it could stand a little bit of pressure. Push it in so that it's buried in the slot a little bit, not all the way through. Don't stick it, don't, have it protrude all the way through. But now let's take a look on the side. We can see that that reed has gone down. So I've pushed the reed down. I want to bring this part up while keeping this part down. So I'll take these nice comfortable round toothpicks and apply some pressure, some counter pressure. Can you see that on the reed? And then I can use the curved end of this. Again, I'm trying to look at the camera. Or I can use the straight edge, and I'll just work it. Right? So I've done that. By no means is it done. You need to plink. Take a good look at where how high it's resting. Plink it a good 10 times. Now let's reassess where we are. So, not perfect, but a lot more of the reed passes through the slot at the same time. Let's give it another little plink because I'm not certain. So that certainly is better. And the rest of the reed seems to pass through the slot. Like that light just seems to disappear at the same time and not, there's no swooping down. So I will test this with my mouth now. So it's tightly gapped, so I'm going to keep the bass down because I don't want to raise that bass. I just worked hard to lower it. Still a bit sticky, still a bit tight in the gap. So I'm just putting pressure just like I did, but it's gentler pressure. I don't have to be so firm. That ought to do it. Okay. When I apply bending energy, as I draw in, I try to bend that single reed down and try to get it to squeal, and it doesn't squeal. So that's a good sign that you have some reed efficiency. If the tip or the middle went into the slot first, it would squeal, and you don't want that. Let's accept this. Let's just look at the blow. Moving that forward. I hope you can see that clearly. So it has a great shape, except it's too high. So let's just bring it down gently. We plink to shake off the pent-up energy. We titrate to effect is another way of saying it. It's still pretty high. Can you see that? Although, seems to me better. Seems to me just by the timbre of that note as I plink, I can hear that it's more efficient. I hope you could appreciate that on the camera. So there's still, I could go all day to make this better, but let's just see how it looks and how it plays. Let's just put it together here. that bend is right there. I'm barely working. Tuning needs to be adjusted, but that's no surprise. I hope that helps. I hope that demonstrates this thing, this idea of eliminating the guesswork. Just look at what you're doing. Get a view. Get a view by taking the reed plates off, and you know, optimize your view by eliminating the light that's interfering with you seeing the light coming from underneath. I hope that helps.